hari minggu sedikit lagi. Minggu itu aku akan ada exercise. Saat itu hari 1, 15 hari 8. Exercise diri, forearm, biceps, enggau, triceps. Jadi minggu itu aku agak exercise forearm. Nah, fokus ngegai wrist roller aja. Tapi itu aku saya itu agak 4 set yang lain jenis. Wrist roller, dumbbell wrist curl pump up, dumbbell wrist curl pump down, enggau dumbbell twist. Dulunya aku nyambung enggau, exercise bicep, enggau tricep. Jadi exercise bicep pergi dia dumbbell bicep curl, dumbbell hammer curl, enggau twist dumbbell curl. Kurang nama exercise-nya aku melihat twist. Dari tricep akan melepas dumbbell kickback, ditambah juga enggau dumbbell overhead triceps extension. Ya, fokus exercise hari itu.
Will not sustain you unless you put it into perspective. How will you see the rest of your day? Because how you see the rest of your day will oftentimes determine the way you see the rest of your life. Shift your perspective. It can change your perspective. It can change the future. You're listening to me right now, you have unfinished business. And you need to go back to that dream, back to that idea. You have a date with destiny. You have unfinished business. It's time for you to go back to the drawing board with a new perspective. It's your viewpoint. And what's this? Your perspective actually shapes your language. And your language shapes your world. And so if you don't start thinking right, you're not going to talk right. And if you're not talking right, you're not going to experience the world that you see in your head. I don't know who God is going to become. But what I can tell you is if you keep seeing it the way you have seen it, you will never become. Everybody wants next level. Everybody wants wealth and influence. And everybody wants to be this esoteric novelty. But listen to me. You will never experience any of this showing up in your next season with the same viewpoint. The right perspective makes it possible.
Woo.
You don't have to know everything. In fact, you don't even need to know most things. But you do have to know that progress often calls for us to move forward without knowing. It asks that we're willing to learn along the way, to pick up the pieces as we walk by them. And that's a vulnerability that is sometimes tough to face, right? It's a nakedness that we never really shape. The idea that in order to grow, we have to leave the now, ill-prepared for tomorrow, but knowing that we have everything we need to make the transition. The losses become lessons, the failures become data points, the mistakes become our clarity. And until we understand this, there really isn't an upward trajectory. We place too much value on the known, the things we understand, the cyclical nature of a day-to-day that is, as much as life can be, predictable and determined. Characteristics that are actually antithetical to growth. In fact, one could make an argument that in this incredible day and age of information, our need and ability to know often comes at the expense of true transformation. Right? I studied podcasts for so long before I started one that I could have created and improved upon my own, 400 times over. I had to find out who uses what, when to upload, how long the episode should be, and on and on. There are books and videos, there are classes and coaches. All of it wonderful, I'm sure, in its own way. But nothing so powerful as that university of experience, of life. The idea of the thinker and the doer. The thinker that absorbs and contemplates, weighs one option versus another and another, exhausting time sufficient for the doer to fall on her face twice, pick up the pieces, make necessary changes, and be on her way. See, the information is out there. It exists and can be incredibly valuable, but simultaneously can contribute to us thinking our way into stagnation. A thing can only be what you make it. And things provide the value you decide to extract from them. I like using the example of water because it's simple. Water is necessary to sustain life. Without it, one cannot go on. Too much of it, however, can sink a ship or flood a building. Too much is disastrous. And you can pretty much fill in the blank with anything else here to demonstrate that point. Life is a balance between not enough and too much, scarcity and excess. My opinion is that now, with regard to information and technology, we exist on the too much side of the spectrum. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I was having a conversation about something I wasn't sure about without interrupting it to pull out my phone and Google the answer. Again, this has its positive. Knowledge is power, but to what extent? And I'm talking big picture here. This is about so much more than picking up a phone to Google information. This is about never feeling like we're equipped enough to step into something new. Because we can always be obtaining more. And it's like, where do you draw that line? I now, because of the accessibility of information, find myself frequently staring like a deer in headlights. Because some minor detail hasn't been included. Because everything is not perfectly ironed out. My brain has become conditioned to know. Because knowing is now incredibly easy. But life is about generating a meaningful existence. Meaning is carved from unknown. It's not Googled or found on Wikipedia. A podcast or YouTube video can't give you meaning. It might help you prepare or point you in the right direction, but meaning is about self-discovery. It's about, taking those things you learn, but giving them life. It's pulled out of the world around you like diamonds from the earth. Necessarily calling for going when you don't know exactly what the destination looks like, starting when you don't know what the end result will be. We are consuming at the expense of living, absorbing at the expense of feeling, right? There's the idea that a business book is not the same thing as creating a business. Being on social media is not the same thing as being social. It's an aspect of those things served up without the risk or the upside. That is not real life. One of my favorite movies, Good Will Hunting. Robin Williams' character, a therapist, is talking to Matt Damon's character. He plays this brilliant young man who has, photographic memories, right? Every book in the library, he's a genius. But even with all that, he doesn't quite have the courage to move out of his little world into something bigger. Into the opportunity that's available for him if only he finds the strength to seek it out. And here's a segment of Robin Williams trying to explain that to Matt Damon. He says, so if I asked you about art, you probably give me the skinny on every art book ever written. Michelangelo, you know a lot about life's work, political aspirations, even the whole sexual orientation, whole works, right? But I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. You've never actually stood there and looked up at that beautiful ceiling, seen that. If I asked you, if I could do anything on this earth, I wouldn't do it.
The truth of the matter is, how are you so emotional? Do not let misery control.
Quiet stopping memes, silence running through my brain. Yeah, I gotta get away. Always waiting for the phone, so I put myself in song. Gotta save me from myself. Sensing this is just like how no good intentions of me down. I can't get it out. Wait, my seven brothers if I break me today. I win every day by day. Yeah, so yeah. I'm out there right in the eye. I just wanna feel alive. I just wanna feel alive. I just wanna feel alive. I gotta save me from myself. Sensing this it hurts like hell. No good intentions of you down. I can't get it out. Wait, my seven brothers if I break it today. I win every day by day. Yeah, so yeah. I'm out there right in the eye. I just wanna feel alive. 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 I'm on, I'm less off, I'm broken and broken, but I'm done. Your lies are flying. I can't run your place in this faulty game. No the words you speak, you're nothing more to me, 'cause I start over now. Rewind, I won't let you go, need to by my side.
No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boy boss. They ain't catch me out in moving fast. Only a shooting star. Yeah, no, you are. I ain't gonna fuck. It's your star. Stand shoulders in charge. Only a shooting star.
You know what I hear? I hear the clock ticking. The time waits for no man. Life goes by. It goes by quick. Don't waste those years. Don't waste them. Live them. I want you to be terrified of sitting on the sidelines and doing nothing. Waking up in 6 days or 6 weeks or 6 years or 60 years and being no closer to your goal. You've made no progress. That is the nightmare. That is what you really need to be afraid of. Being stagnant. So get up and go. That idea isn't going to execute itself. That book isn't going to write itself. Those weights out in the gym, they are going to move themselves. You have to do it. And you have to do it now. Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan.